Hi folks, Puffin here with your Antifa News Briefa for August 26, 2021. This is about Regeneron, DeSantis, the Trump virus response, and a few other things. Fox News was having a live feed, so I was in the chat room on YouTube for a Joe Biden speech coming up, but he's taking a while to get to the podium, so I'm talking to all the trolls, telling them about how Trump is in it with the Taliban. Just real quick, that Karzai, Bush's appointee, he was president and, kind of the American puppet running Afghanistan for years, is not the president anymore, but he is the one who orchestrated the coup with the Taliban. So he basically handed the country over to the Taliban for Bush and the neocons for Trump. And, we all know that Trump made the deal that let the Taliban out. 5,000 of their leaders and fighters unfroze their bank accounts, did everything for the Taliban to surrender the country to them without anything for the Afghan government. And that, basically a coup that was orchestrated by the people who orchestrated the war in the first place in order to keep the Taliban in power and make themselves feel necessary. But of course, the people who have supported the Taliban now, the Trumpers supporting the Taliban, have made it a lie that they support the military. So this is kind of along those lines, but a different topic. While we're waiting for Obama to come on, I'm just pointing that out. That's probably why Osama bin Laden's niece endorsed Donald Trump, because he is Taliban. Like, literally, it's not a metaphor. Trumpers are Taliban. They're both puppets of Putin to destroy America. That's their goal. So, and humanity. They're traitors to humanity. So humanity can rally together to stop them, and we will have stopped pretty much all the evil in the world, the core of it, and it'll be a great world after that. So let's do that. Anyway, so while we're waiting for Biden to come on, they go to DeSantis. And DeSantis is doing this, I guess, live press conference about Regeneron. So you're probably going to hear this chopped up in other news sources if you watch this type of thing. But I wanted to be on it first with the Antifa News Briefa. And just, oh my gosh. So this guy is saying things, the words that came out of his mouth. Again, you'll see the direct quotes on other shows. And they'll make good points about it too, I'm sure. So watch them, like them, comment, support the effort to take these people down. I'm leaving a comment, citizens arrest DeSantis for genocide. Like, get this guy out of there. He is telling people to go to these Regeneron stations to get this other drug. It's not the vaccine. To get a drug that helps boost their resistance to the vaccine, supposedly. And that he and Rand Paul and all these other Republicans have invested in. So it's like their drug, their profits. Now, the one thing is that came out of his mouth that was just disgustingly hypocritical, fascist, was, expected. But you couldn't believe it still. Even as much as you expect these people to lie and twist things around and turn around like the other people do what they do. He's sitting here saying, which is the classic Nazi tactic. He's sitting there saying, don't let people politicize a treatment. Don't let people tell you not to get this treatment and politicize. What has he been doing for 18 months? Politicizing treatment. He's the one doing that. And then he's trying to blame other people when he thinks he can make a buck off the alternative. It's evil. It's incredibly evil. So the hypocrisy of that is intense. But then there was another layer where he's like, some people might be thinking, and if it helps, I'm not saying don't get it just because Republicans benefit off of it. Anything that helps, helps. I'm for help. I'm a good person. I'm not a grifter. But, get the vaccine. And he's still trying to shade the vaccine. He's still trying to say, well, we got more breakthrough cases, and everybody knows somebody who had a breakthrough case. It's like, that's anecdotal evidence compared to science and math that shows that it's mostly killing unvaccinated people. So he's just still trying to kill people, basically, and trying to make as much money off it as possible. Does not care about you. So let's stop him and the other Republican governors and Congress people, Senate traitors, Congress traitors, Supreme Court and other judge traitors. Like, any of these people, they're all part of a treasonous effort that's really obvious of Putin trying to take over America through Trump and destroy us. When it's that treasonous and bad and that obvious too, I'm a really smart guy, but there's a lot of other people who see it. And I can tell people, and hopefully you can tell each other, until everybody catches on. We can peel people off of this Trump traitor terrorist thing and bring them back to being Americans. But let them know, they're not Americans now. They've become Trumpers, which is a traitor to America. It's anti-American. Oh, and Trump is Antichrist, by the way. Not just an Antichrist. He's the Antichrist by prophecy, but you'll have to see my other videos. Anyway, because Putin even, and Hitler even weren't as Antichrist as Trump is, because Trump's the one who's trying to claim that. Man, maybe Putin is a little bit, but no, Trump's the one trying to claim that mantle, and people are giving it to him like, Jesus, Trump. No, Jesus is not Trump. Jesus is Antifa. Jesus loves you. Jesus has no enemies. Jesus is stronger than all this stuff. And he's predicted, see my book, the Book of Judas, and the prequel, The Art of Betrayal by God, a BLM book, Black Lives Matter. The prophecy is that all these churches will be replaced by the true church, the Church of Judas. See my video, Church of Judas. That can explain it even easier. But yeah, check out the books if you got attention for reading, and share those around, because we can replace this whole system with a system that's good for everybody. Just get rid of the evil people. And they've all grouped together as Trumpers and held their hands up. So we know who they are. And DeSantis is sitting there spewing, come to our Regeneron centers, you know, it's free. And that's the other thing. When he says it's free, well, the taxes are paid for it. We're paying for it. Every other thing that taxes pay for, you whine and complain about. But when these taxes are going in your pocket and you're charging, I don't know, $700 a dose for Regeneron, $3,000 a dose for, I don't know, I'm just throwing numbers out there. But, you know, you'll be able to find out. When you're charging that and charging the taxpayers that, you never get to whine about any tax measure ever. You're passing, or you hopefully don't get a choice. We're passing reconciliation. But ideologically, you have given up, in order to profit off Regeneron, you have given up any ideological claim to whine about any tax ever. Because that's what taxes are. They're people's money that we pay for things. And then you decide what we pay for. But now you're deciding to put it into Regeneron instead of a vaccine that makes it unnecessary. If we had a real president a year ago, we could, instead of a Putin puppet trying to kill us, trying to spread Trump virus genocide, if we had a real president a year ago, we could have just had a sufficient lockdown, just sent food and everybody to everyone's houses, like pioneered a drone program or something to help do that, or whatever. We could have done something really amazing and shut down the society to actually not be a breeding ground of the virus, because it wouldn't have stayed around worldwide as much if we hadn't been a petri dish of Trump virus here in America. Which we did thanks to people like DeSantis and Trump and Putin ultimately and Zuckerberg. So we need to nationalize Facebook and seize that. Once you seize Facebook and look at their internal files, it'll be real obvious. But you have enough evidence to seize them from what everyone's experienced and seen. Their number one story, not number one news story, their number one story in last year's cycle was a lie about a doctor dying from the vaccine. Dying from the vaccine, a lie about a doctor in Florida dying from the vaccine. So they concoct this stuff, they spread it around. Facebook pushes it more than anything. I made a list of fake accounts pushing lies about the virus. I made a post on my Facebook page about it. 150 of them or something. I made just kept adding. Whenever I saw another one, I'd add that person's profile to my list. And Facebook hid that post from me. Now, maybe somebody reported it or whatever, and so they had a right to hide it. But I couldn't find it on my own page. I could see the post before and after it, and I had to use a link to go to it and dig it up. So you got to work around these people. But when he's saying, oh, it's free, taxes pay for it. Hey, when we want socialized healthcare, when we want free college, that's free. But you always whine, oh, our taxes have to pay for that. Our taxes have to pay for that. Well, our taxes have to pay for your Regeneron. And we wouldn't even have to if we'd gotten the vaccine or just done appropriate lockdown and safely kept people at home for a month. And most people, responsible people like myself, we voluntarily stayed home, like literally stayed home. I only went to the weed store for a freaking year. And I'm not complaining about that. I've got great video games. I love playing video games. It was okay. I wrote books. I did some good stuff. I wrote picture books, Santa's Roadster, Mr. Mint, and Stay the Fuck at Home, a baby book for whiny, mask-refusing babies. And the Judas books, The Art of Betrayal by God and the Book of Judas. I did a lot that I've made some of my dreams come true by being at home. But I volunteered and stayed home. I wasn't whining about it. I was having a good time. We're making the most of it. But I did that for a year for the common cause. And other people who had to whine about it and had to protest and had to everything else, had to lie to people in order to spread it, in order to prolong it, which prolongs it and makes the variants all around the world. And the scientists told us what was happening. It's the exact same dynamic as climate change. Scientists warned us. People ignored it for greedy special interests that lie and brainwash them and prey on their racist tendencies or enhance their racist and sexist and various other terrible tendencies. So the only good thing about it is it does group them all together. So, we can start arresting them. We can start saying, look, you guys are trying to genocide us. We need you out of the picture so that we can heal the country. They would gladly just march into the Capitol or your state house and just take over, they would gladly do that. So we need to round them up with government powers. Preferably, it would be much better if the government would get to work and finish rounding up the Trump insurrectionists, for instance, or just arrest Trump. We've got plenty of charges on it. You don't need to worry about the blowback. You need to worry about what letting these terrorists continue to do if they continue to do it. But they basically shoot themselves in the foot or set themselves up for it with stuff like this DeSantis. So you'll see the clips. Thanks for hearing my takes on it, commenting and sharing. And stay tuned for another Antifa News Briefa. The way things are, there's going to be maybe a few every day these days. But nice to meet you. I'm Puffin if you haven't seen me before. And again, thanks for commenting and sharing. And let's stop these guys, because that's the best way to do it, is to shame them out of people being able to receive these bad ideas. Thanks. Have a great day.